Welcome to rocket stove water heater new design, we'll call it. Number one. I've done a lot of work beforehand. I figure a lot of you can figure out what I've done so far. The silver tank that you're seeing here, okay, that is a galvanized steel hot water or expansion tank that went out on me last year. Got some pinhole leaks in it, and we finally got it replaced, and I held on to it. The black tank that you're seeing is a electric hot water heater that someone gave me because it went out on them, and it turned out that the zinc anode was bad in it, and then the heating element was bad in it. Now, that's just kind of a little bit of an overview of the two major components of it. As you kind of see it sitting, that's kind of how it's going to be, but that's not going to be the final design because I didn't do enough research, and my top gap that'll be at the very top of the tank is not the proper 1.5 to 2 inches gap, so I've got to lower it down some. So all the supporting members, I'm going to have to lower them down. Give you an idea of what I have planned is, first off, this pipe here, which is a 4-inch diesel exhaust tubing, I got really cheap. As you can see, it's bent. It was $40 or $50 retail, and I'd ordered it, showed up bent, and so they really discounted it for me. And so, yay for me, because they had no idea what I was using it for. I know a lot of people are going to say, hey, you're supposed to use stainless steel, but I don't know if this is even going to work. I did a mock-up of it with a small propane tank, and it wasn't 100%. Because as soon as I had it drafting without water in it, and it was the residual water from purging the tank worked and was steaming off, but then as soon as I added the water, it cooled the vertical riser so much that I think the problem was that it wasn't drafting. I also just really quick hodgepodge together in about a grand total of 6 hours. So I'm hoping if I take my time and detail this out and do it right, that it'll work out. But that's going to run up the center of the hot water tank. And so that was about $30 there. 35 or 36, somewhere in there. Like I said, I got it for steel. And then, so then I'm going to have the horizontal burn chamber. And this right here was the most expensive thing. This was a 6x6 structural steel, mild steel tubing that I bought. I just picked it up yesterday and brought it home. And I couldn't get a drop piece, so I ended up with full 10 feet. Taking my time, I'll go over what I got laid out on there here in a little while. But so that's going to be the horizontal. If this all works out and this gets hot, okay, first off, the hot water is going to be placed on a suction, not actually pressure, off of this black iron pipe that's out of the top electrical heating element. It's going to be actually sucking out of there. I didn't want to come off the straight top, and I'll explain that here in a minute. Then it's going to circulate back into the house into a air conditioning cooling radiator, and then just be inside the cold air return and with the fan running, and then hopefully it'll all work out. And then it'll come back here and go back into the tank. As you can see, I got a boiler valve there, so I can first off use a washing machine water hose, because it's got the double female ends. Connect it to that and then fill the tank and the whole system. Also, when I'm done at the end of the year, I can drain this out so the water's not just sitting there rusting out the tank and the whole system. So it's a dual purpose thing, okay? And then for safety purposes, let me zoom back out here. Oops, zoom back out. All right, that vertical black iron pipe is for pressure release. I will just put like a soda can on it or something like that, something very light, so that if this does start to actually boil, if I get that good at it, that it'll be able to relieve the pressure. And that is why I have that distance between there, because that hole from the hot water draw side will be filled all the way to the top of the tank, so all of that water will be able to be filled. So I can be able to check. I'll figure out some way to do a float system so that I know that, hey, wait a minute, I do still have plenty of water in there, or I don't have enough water in there. Might actually just get some clear acrylic tube, put a T in there or something so that I can do a water reading. Luckily, I have the threaders and all that stuff, so and hole saw, so there's that. Go back here to my horizontal burn chamber here, okay? As you can see here, I can't remember who it was exactly that I saw this on, so I'll try to credit him in the comments. So as you can see, he had a double feed tube with his design. He had some difficulties that with getting a proper draft on his, so I'm going to utilize some of the corrections and adjustments that he made in his tank, because his ideas are the ones that work. And so I'll try that out, and then not only that, I mean, I'll take into consideration comments and concerns that some of you may have. So right over here to the left, I've got this feed tube. That's going to be part of that 16 gauge exhaust pipe that's going to be in there, and that's going to be for wood, just straight split wood, you know, whatever scrap wood I can find or anything like that. All right, and then feed number 1 here, I plan on trying to see if I can just use wood chips, because if I can get wood chips to work, I got a wood chipper. So guess what? It'd be great, and they dry a lot faster than regular wood, so I'll try that out. Then, as you can see here, I've got my riser. This is my riser, and I left a little bit of space here so that I haven't decided if I'm going to straight weld a piece of plate on there, or if I'm going to put a flange on there and bolt a piece of flat iron to it so that I can get in there and inspect behind it. Now with the riser here that's going to run up the center of the tank, I'm going to turn around and utilize a Vortex Design that I also saw in another video, and can't remember that individual either, so I'll put him in the credits too. Some really good videos out there, some great ideas, and so this whole horizontal burn chamber, as you can see here, you might be able to see there's a small hole there because I designed it out, drilled a pilot hole to put my radius for my tank wall here because I wanted to see it all laid out. And when I did that, my first or feed number 2, as I have it laid out, was right here at the end. It didn't give me any room down here at the end. I'm eventually going to also utilize some designs and possibly some modifications that I saw on the internet or on YouTube for my actual burn chambers. I don't know if feed tube, it might change that feed tube may become the wood pellets, kind of like the double feed that I saw, and then feed number 1 will be the wood design. I'd also like to try to incorporate a waste oil system into this. Seen a few of those out there. So if you have any comments, concerns, questions, by all means, give me a shout. I laid the tape measure out there so that you could see it. I know that a lot of people out there have a lot of videos out there, and it's kind of hard to find designs and measurements and configurations. So that's why I kind of did it. I'm not going to show you me cutting, welding, grinding, sanding, things like that, just because I'm sure you can find plenty of those on how to cut, grind, and weld. I'm no professional welder. I've done construction in the past, so I know what I'm doing kind of a little bit. So case in point, I built this whole shop that I'm standing in. So I mean, if you have any concerns, please by all means